Welcome, esteemed gentlemen. To the well-organized mind, death is but the next great adventure. J.K. Rowling. Few dare to view death this way, but Sigma males have always been the exception. While the world collectively trembles at the thought of life's final curtain, Sigma males sit unbothered, sipping coffee, and probably planning their next enigmatic move. Statistically, the fear of death ranks higher than public speaking. Yet for Sigmas, it's about as intimidating as forgetting to charge their phone. Mildly inconvenient, but not world-ending. Why? Because Sigma males approach life and consequently death on their own terms. Detached from the herd mentality, they've cracked the code to accepting mortality without flinching. Their mindset isn't reckless or nihilistic, it's calculated, profound, and oddly liberating. To understand why Sigma males don't fear death is to peer into the depths of a psyche that thrives in the shadow of the ultimate unknown, and to laugh a little at how they've turned even death into just another passing thought. Number 1. The ultimate stoics. Sigma males embody a mindset that makes them immune to the typical fear of death. This isn't some romanticized bravado or reckless disregard for life. It's a result of how they think and live. At their core, they operate with the principles of Stoicism, which teaches that what you can't control should never control you. Death is the ultimate uncontrollable factor, and Sigma males have learned to accept it with an almost disarming level of calmness. For a Sigma male, fearing death is pointless. It's like being scared of the sunset. It's inevitable, so why waste energy on it? Instead, they channel their focus into the things they can control, their choices, their actions, and their impact. This practical approach frees them from the mental weight that plagues so many others. While others cling to life with a frantic fear of the unknown, Sigmas are too busy living fully to obsess over when it ends. This mindset gives them a distinct edge. They don't just avoid fearing death, they make peace with it. They see it as a natural endpoint, not an enemy. By stripping away the drama, they're able to confront mortality with clarity. This doesn't mean they're emotionless robots. They value life deeply. But they also understand that fearing the inevitable is a trap that keeps people from truly living. Sigma males walk a fine line between detachment and presence. They know life is finite. And instead of shrinking from this reality, they use it as motivation. Every moment matters, and every decision carries weight. In the end, this acceptance of death isn't just about courage, it's about wisdom. It's about refusing to let the fear of an ending stop you from writing a brilliant story. Number 2. Freedom in facing the ultimate limit. Sigma males are unshackled by the fear of death, and this freedom creates a ripple effect across every aspect of their lives. They don't see mortality as a looming threat, but as a boundary that defines the beauty and urgency of existence. This awareness is profoundly liberating. When you've accepted the inevitability of death, the rules that society uses to keep people in line suddenly lose their power. The fear that holds others back no longer applies, giving Sigmas the space to take risks and live authentically. This freedom allows them to approach life with a boldness that's often misunderstood. They're not reckless thrill-seekers chasing danger for the sake of adrenaline. Their risk-taking is deliberate and meaningful. They step outside their comfort zones, push limits, and challenge norms because they know that the worst-case scenario, death, isn't something to fear. Ironically, this detachment doesn't lead to a careless existence, but rather to a fuller, richer one. Breaking rules comes naturally to them because they don't blindly adhere to societal expectations. Sigma males are guided by their own internal compass, one calibrated by their unique values and priorities. They aren't worried about pleasing others or fitting into molds because they've made peace with the ultimate consequence. This perspective liberates them to live on their own terms, unapologetically and without hesitation. In accepting mortality, Sigma males unlock a kind of mental and emotional freedom that most people can't fathom. They live with urgency, but without panic, with intention, but without constraint. Death doesn't loom over them like a shadow. It fuels their drive to take chances, break free from the mundane, and craft a life that's entirely their own. Number 3. Rejection of the herd's narrative about death. Sigma. Males reject society's fear-driven narrative about death because they refuse to see life's end through the lens of collective hysteria. Mainstream culture often portrays death as a tragedy to be feared and avoided at all costs, laced with melodrama and existential dread. From tear-soaked goodbyes to tales of unfinished business, the herd clings to a view of death that amplifies fear and minimizes understanding. Sigma males, however, have little patience for this emotional spectacle. Instead, they choose to craft their own interpretation of what death truly means, one that aligns with their detached and introspective worldview. To them, death is neither inherently tragic nor something to be resisted endlessly. It's simply a transition, a natural and unavoidable part of existence. They reject the idea that a life's worth is measured by its length or by how loudly the world mourns its loss. Instead, they focus on the quality of life lived, viewing death as a punctuation mark rather than the obliteration of meaning. This rejection of the herd's narrative gives Sigma males a distinct clarity. They don't buy into the cultural obsession with avoiding death through superficial distractions, legacy projects, or even excessive medical intervention. While others may chase immortality in futile ways, Sigmas invest their energy into living intentionally, free from the burden of societal expectations about how they should view or handle their mortality. By stepping away from the fear-mongering and drama, Sigma males approach death on their own terms with a quiet acceptance and a sense of control over their perspective. This isn't about indifference or apathy, it's about clarity and agency. In rejecting the herd's narrative, they liberate themselves from unnecessary fear and open the door to a life lived with purpose, depth, and autonomy. Number 4. They live without regret. Sigma. Males live with a profound sense of intention that sets them apart from most. While others often fall into the trap of delaying their dreams for the right time or deferring their happiness until some undefined future, Sigma males operate on an entirely different frequency. For them, life is too fleeting to be spent on hesitation or compromise. They understand that regret is born from inaction, and they refuse to let it take root in their lives. This approach isn't about reckless impulsivity, but deliberate, meaningful choices. Sigma males focus on aligning their actions with their values and pursuing their goals without waiting for external validation or perfect conditions. Whether it's starting a new venture, leaving behind toxic relationships, or embarking on a personal quest for growth, they take the leap because they know that time is the one resource they can't replenish. Living without regret doesn't mean Sigma males never fail or stumble. They do, but they see failure as a part of growth rather than something to be feared. Each experience, whether triumphant or challenging, becomes a stepping stone, ensuring that when they reflect on their lives, they see a story filled with purpose, not excuses. This mindset allows Sigma males to approach death with an unusual calmness. The what-ifs and if-onlys that haunt others at the end of their lives simply don't exist for them. They've spent their time fully engaged, pursuing their passions and living authentically. Their peace comes not from avoiding death, but from knowing they've truly lived. For a Sigma male, death isn't an interruption. It's the conclusion of a life written boldly, with no pages left blank and no dreams left to collect dust. Number 5. They don't cling to control. Sigma males have a unique relationship with control. They don't cling to it. While most people are consumed by the need to micromanage their lives, frantically trying to shape outcomes and avoid uncertainty, Sigma males operate with a deep understanding of life's inherent chaos. They know that control is, at best, an illusion, and that fighting to dominate every aspect of existence only leads to frustration and fear. This perspective extends naturally to death. While others obsess over prolonging life or avoiding danger, Sigma males see such efforts as futile. They recognize that no amount of planning, wealth, or strategy can sidestep the unpredictable nature of existence. Instead of being paralyzed by this reality, they embrace it. To them, life's chaos isn't a threat but a feature, one that keeps things interesting, raw, and real. This acceptance of unpredictability makes them unusually calm in the face of mortality. Death is not something to resist or control. It's simply another aspect of the chaotic flow of life. Sigma males understand that trying to wrestle with the inevitable only wastes energy and robs life of its vitality. By letting go of the need to control, they paradoxically gain a profound sense of inner peace and freedom. This detachment doesn't mean they live recklessly or without purpose. On the contrary, they focus on what they can influence, their actions, choices, and mindset, while letting go of the rest. This balance allows them to move through life with confidence and clarity, unburdened by the anxieties that plague those who cling to control. For Sigma males, surrendering to life's unpredictability isn't a weakness, it's a powerful acknowledgement of reality, one that enables them to live fully and face death with equanimity. Number 6. The fear of living a lie is greater. For Sigma males, the prospect of living a life that isn't true to who they are is far more terrifying than the inevitability of death. They don't fear the end. They fear wasting their existence pretending to be something they're not. To them, authenticity is not just a preference, it's a non-negotiable way of life. Compromise on this front is the ultimate betrayal, one they refuse to inflict upon themselves, no matter the cost. This unyielding commitment to self-truth shapes every aspect of their existence. Sigma males prioritize their values, passions, and personal growth over societal expectations or external validation. They don't conform to fit into pre-approved roles or perform for the approval of others. While many people fear rejection, failure, or alienation, Sigmas are more afraid of looking back on their lives and realizing they lived for someone else's version of success. The pursuit of authenticity often demands difficult choices. Sigma males are no strangers to walking away from comfort, stability, or even relationships that require them to compromise their identity. But for them, the alternative, a life built on lies, is unthinkable. This is why they embrace the risks that come with being true to themselves, even when it means facing loneliness, failure, or criticism. Because they live authentically, death holds no power over them. They've already made peace with their choices and lived on their terms. The what-ifs and regrets that haunt so many at the end of life simply don't exist for them. For Sigma males, the measure of a life well lived isn't longevity or accolades. It's the ability to look back and know that every decision, every path taken was driven by their truest self. To live any other way would be the only true failure. Number 7. Legacy over longevity. Sigma males don't measure the value of life by its length but by its depth and meaning. For them, the question isn't how long can I live, but what can I leave behind that matters. This mindset shifts their focus from the futile race to outlive others to something far more profound, creating an impact that resonates no matter how brief or enduring their time might be. Their approach to legacy is unconventional. They're not concerned with flashy monuments, fame, or being remembered by millions. Instead, they focus on influencing the people, ideas, or causes that align with their core values. A single conversation, a small act of courage, or a quiet contribution to something greater than themselves can hold more significance to a Sigma than decades of chasing superficial accolades. Because they prioritize legacy over longevity, Sigma males aren't paralyzed by the fear of death. Their perspective frees them from clinging to life for the sake of survival. They recognize that the inevitability of death doesn't negate the importance of living fully, it enhances it. Every moment, every decision carries weight, not because it delays the end, but because it adds to the meaning they leave behind. For a Sigma, the beauty of life lies in its impermanence. Knowing time is finite pushes them to create something real and lasting, even if it only exists in the memories of a few or in the quiet ripple effects of their actions. They don't need their names etched in history books or their faces immortalized in stone. Their legacy is built in the moments they dared to live authentically, inspire others, and contribute something meaningful to the world. This drive to leave an impact, however small, far outweighs any fear they might have about their demise. Number 8. They understand their place in the grand design. Sigma males approach life with a profound sense of perspective, seeing themselves not as isolated individuals, but as part of a larger, interconnected cosmic order. This understanding shapes their view of death in a way that sets them apart from the fear-driven mentality of the majority. For them, life is not about fighting against the flow of existence, but moving with it. And death is just one part of that flow, a transition, not a tragedy. This mindset stems from their ability to zoom out and see the bigger picture. Sigma males understand that existence is vast, complex, and ever-changing. They are not the center of the universe, but rather a unique piece in an intricate puzzle that spans time and space. This perspective allows them to detach from the ego-driven fear of ceasing to exist, which so often grips others. Instead, they see death as a natural progression, no different from the changing of seasons or the setting of the sun. Rather than resist or dread the inevitable, they embrace the idea that their time is finite, but their role in the larger design is significant, no matter how brief. For Sigmas, the meaning of life isn't tied to personal survival or permanence, but to the ways in which they contribute to the greater whole. Whether it's through their relationships, their work, or their quiet defiance of societal norms, they know that every action has its place in the grand scheme of things. This understanding allows Sigma males to approach death without fear or bitterness. To them, it's not an ending but a continuation, an exchange of one form of existence for another. In accepting their place in the grand design, they find peace in the impermanence of life, knowing that they've played their part in something far greater than themselves. Number 9. Detachment from materialism. Sigma males have a distinct relationship with materialism. While society often equates success with wealth, status, and possessions, Sigma males see these things for what they truly are: temporary, fleeting, and ultimately unimportant in defining who they are. Their sense of identity is built not on what they own or how others perceive them, but on their own inner values, beliefs, and actions. This detachment from material possessions frees them from the fear that plagues many people, the anxiety of losing everything upon death. For Sigma males, their self-worth is not tied to a bank account balance or the latest trends. They know that no matter how much they accumulate during their lifetime, none of it can truly define them. Instead, they focus on what can't be taken away: their character, their choices, and the way they live. This shift in perspective creates a kind of inner security that allows them to view material loss with calmness rather than fear. When it comes to death, Sigma males understand that the physical world is temporary. Possessions, status, and external validation are all part of a larger, impermanent system. They've learned to live without the need for these things to feel whole or fulfilled. Their peace comes from within, not from the external markers of success that society often holds up as the ultimate goal. This detachment gives them the freedom to pursue what truly matters without the burden of material concerns. They're not chasing after wealth for the sake of social standing or trying to accumulate possessions to validate their existence. Death, for them, isn't something that takes away what they value. It's simply a transition. Since they never rooted their identity in material things, the fear of losing them in death has little impact. For a Sigma male, life is about depth, purpose, and authenticity, not accumulating things that will one day fade away. Number 10. They see themselves as outsiders, even in death. Sigma males have always marched to the beat of their own drum, and this individuality extends to their approach to death. Unlike the majority, who view death as a communal experience, a shared loss that brings together friends, family, and society, Sigma males view it as a deeply personal journey. Their entire life is defined by walking outside the boundaries set by others, so it's only natural that death, too, would be something they experience on their own terms. For Sigma males, death is not something that binds them to others. It's a solitary passage. They've never been interested in adhering to societal norms, and they're not about to start when it comes to their final moments. While others might fear the idea of being alone in death or being forgotten, Sigma males are at peace with the notion that their death will be theirs alone. There's no need for the ceremonial drama, the outpouring of grief, or the grand societal rituals. They find comfort in the idea that death, much like life, is an intensely individual experience, one that they will navigate as they always have, with self-reliance and authenticity. This detachment from the collective narrative around death also means they don't feel pressured by the expectations that society imposes on how one should live or die. While many people focus on legacy, fame, or being remembered, Sigma males focus on how they lived, on their own terms. They know that death is inevitable and that it's not about conforming to expectations, but about embracing it as a natural conclusion to the life they've chosen. In this way, death doesn't terrify them. It's simply another personal journey that, just like everything else, they will walk alone, authentically, and without apology. In the end, Sigma males approach death with a rare clarity and peace because they live with intention, authenticity, and an unwavering commitment to their own path. Their detachment from the fear of mortality is not born from indifference but from a profound understanding of life's impermanence and their role within it. They don't seek to outrun death or avoid it. They accept it as part of the grand design, a transition rather than a tragedy. Free from societal expectations and material concerns, they focus instead on leaving a meaningful legacy and living without regret. To them, life isn't a countdown to an inevitable end, but a unique journey to be experienced fully and on their own terms. Death, when it comes, is simply the conclusion of a story they've already written with purpose and authenticity. For the Sigma male, it's not about fearing the end. It's about living so fiercely and truly that the end becomes just another step in a journey that never truly fades. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Sigma male mindset, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more thought-provoking content. Don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts. Let's keep this conversation going. Your support helps us reach more people and continue to explore fascinating topics together. Thanks for being here, and stay tuned for more.